G'day guys, welcome back to the Fon Supercoach YouTube channel. Today we are doing the full round 6 review. So for me it was a good round, scored 2,285 and moved up 20k ranks, which is always nice, into rank 50k. So we've officially hit the meme rank and we've come up to it. So it's been a tough year. And looking forward to getting to some trades this week. But first, I have to do the reviews. I did try and upload the first 6 games on Sunday morning. However, my mic wasn't plugged in. So my apologies for that. I'll try and speed through them tonight, but we'll see how we go. So first match, Collingwood versus Carlton. Really weird game, I would have said. And then Carlton lost the game probably the first 4 minutes of the last quarter. Burn had a shot on the siren to win, but could not get it to go. Sam Walsh 101. Probably wanted a little bit more in a good matchup. So I don't know, this Walsh pick is really weird where I think you just hold to the buys, but I think it's worth assessing at the buys if he is worth holding. I'm not convinced that he will be, but you get more data by that point anyway. So hopefully he turns it around for owners. Nick Newman, if you went there, just didn't score in the second half. So that's why the scaling is minus 20. And Jagger Smith, 64. So I think a lot of people are going to be keen to move Jagger on. I think I am as well. The problem I have is that I think Jagger is the solution to a lot of Carlton's issues in the midfield. But I just don't trust that the coach is going to throw him in there. He has also looked a touch timid in the last couple of weeks. So I don't know. I think I'll just cash him in. He's made a heap of cash, so no dramas with that. On the Collingwood side, Dagos was elite in the second quarter. Don't know what Voss was doing, putting Ollie Hollands on him. But, is what it is. And then Dan Houston was superb in the last quarter. Got heaps of ball. The marks are really high, but some of the teams allow that. And it is worth noting that they look way better with the ball in Houston's hands, up the ground. I'm not convinced they look much better from the kick-in because their kick-in strategy is literally just either kick it to the pocket and kick it long or just kick it long to contest. So I don't know if there's room for improvement there for Collingwood. We will see. If there is, Houston should get an uptick because it makes sense to have him taking kick-ins then, but we'll see. I'm not sure what happens. I'm just going to hold this to the buy and reassess. I think he can give us 90 until then. Steen, 72. So if you had him, you would have been thrilled. I thought he was a bit better than a 72, to be honest. Kicked the 2 goals and had 6 hitouts to advantage. But yeah, he was quite good. And then Anderson, 64, done enough for mine. I think his job security is pretty good because I think his grunt around the ball is very much needed for Collingwood. So I am very happy to trade in Angry Angus Anderson this week. None of these guys are relevant. All right, let's move on to the Cats and the Dogs. Tragic game, a lot of injuries for the Dogs. So Libba concussion. Don't want to speculate on his future, but I would suggest he's going to be out for a while at the very least. And then Sam Darcy, ACL. Very, very sad as well. I don't know if it's the same knee or whatnot, but wishing those two all the best in recovery. I don't think Sam Darcy's injury creates much Supercoach relevance in terms of opportunity. However, Libba's will. I'm just not sure who gets the uptick though. I'm quite interested in Ed Richards because I think he's the man now, but we will see. And I don't think is Kennedy mid only? We'll check later. Let's go through the Cats. So Baz 151, he's just been tremendous in them. In the games where Geelong really gets on top, in the midfield, he's been tremendous. So not a surprise there. The contested rate's really high and the Clangers DE is not too bad, hitting the scoreboard by score assists and goals as well. Holmes still playing a lot of defense. I kind of half hope that he does not get defender status, but as someone who owns it, would generally be good for me, but I don't know. We'll see. That might be silly logic, but I have 5 defenders already, and I kind of want to get a 6th. So I'd prefer Max Holmes stays in the midfield, although I don't think it hurts his scoring playing halfback. Who else is relevant here for the Cats? Oh, Mitch Edwards. I thought Mitch Edwards was better than a 76 as well, to be honest, but I guess not. I thought he played pretty well. He has a very good crack at it for a 19-year-old ruckman. And Stewart has been absolutely killed by Holmes playing in defence, so very unfortunate for owners. And Tanner Bruhn just had a stinker in the first quarter. Was pretty all right after that, I would have said, but just couldn't recover. So I'm willing to give Tanner at least one more. On the Dogs side, I think Richards is very interesting. The problem is his bye is dreadful. It's the Melbourne, Geelong, Bulldogs, St Kilda bye. I don't know how many we want to load up on this bye. That being said, Richards is pretty cheap. And with no Libba, I don't know if that helps his scoring. As you can see, like really low disposal efficiency, high clanger game for him, which is rare. So yeah, I'm not sure, but I am somewhat interested in Ed Richards. Anyone relevant here? Oh, Selwood was terrific. So Bont, absolute stinker. Kind of bailed by like the really high contested rate, which is super good for a non-owner like me, but quite stiff for an owner. Probably would. I can't remember the last time Bont dropped a score below 90, to be honest. So, I mean, that might have been last week actually, but yeah, I don't know. So I'm going to get Bont way cheaper than I thought I would ever be able to. It's looking like he's got a bad matchup this week against Sydney. Probably a bad matchup against Freo, but he does normally cook Freo for whatever reason. And it is worth noting that there is a level of doubt over his availability this week because he has some knee soreness. No injury. The scans cleared him, but some knee soreness. So a watch for owners. And Jake's just couldn't get involved. He just played mostly wing for whatever reason. I don't really understand that. He got thrown forward a little bit as well. For whatever reason, Bramble was taking kick-ins and like playing a little bit of defense. Bramble's had 8 kicks, by the way, 5 of them from kick-ins. Get this guy out of defense. He can't defend, he can't use the footy, and he can't get a kick. So what's he doing back there, Bevo? So was pretty frustrated to see that, but is what it is. We move on. I did field Jake's over Selwood, so I was quite upset. The Swans Giants game, so Grundy 136, got some absolutely shameless junk at the end of the third quarter. Like, it was like an unnecessary bounce plus 2 handballs and a kick mark or something. Like, it was just unbelievable. But yeah, he was quite good. No surprise against Madden. Blakey was really good as well. So I have a really tough time reading this pick. I don't know when it scores well. I don't know when it doesn't score well. So I think he's probably close enough to a top 6 defender that he's worth picking. But I'm just not sure. Also, worth noting, the teams that are really high fantasy playing against other high fantasy teams are getting smashed by scaling because there's simply too much to allocate. So that's why you see like minus 25 on a guy who's clearly played well. And he's had a 35, like he's been good the whole game. So yeah, just one to monitor. I've noticed that with some other teams as well. Adelaide's another one where this happens. St Kilda too. Heaney got a little bit of attention from Angwin, who's a weird tagger. I don't really understand it, but it seems to be limiting some influence, although Heaney was quite good tonight. Anyway, so McInerney's an interesting one. I am quite interested in this pick. I will say I don't know why this is only a 96, but I am very interested in going Myers to McInerney, so we'll discuss that in trades. There's going to be a lot of interest in Chad Warner. He's a very frustrating own, just if you haven't owned Chad Warner before. So there's a little bit of buy beware there. Mills, like, I'm not sure if he's top 6. Again, I struggle to read with Blakey. But yeah, we'll see. And then Roses, if you held him, you'd be wrapped. Had a really good game. And the last one I believe here is Sarong, who had a little bit of a stinker. And I think it's time to cull him, unfortunately. On the Giants side, Oliver. So he's just going about his business. I still don't think he looks overly fit. But as winter comes into fruition, he should in theory get better. So I don't know, maybe he is top 8. That's just sounds crazy to me, but he could actually be top 8. So I wouldn't begrudge you if you went here. I know I said at the start of the year he didn't look good and I would have traded him out after that round 1 game, but he just gets it done. So I don't know, maybe the environment's just really good for him for scoring. So yeah, he was really good. Whitfield 115, great game for him. Was absolutely wrapped with this. Gothard 109. So like I traded in Watkins over Gothard, Cook, and Dersma, and all 3 of those guys have been dropping tons on my head. So that's been a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is. Great pick if you went Gothard. Really good player, and I think he holds long term, so no job security issues there. Ash had a poor disposal efficiency game, which was fantastic as a non-owner. Brings that price down a little bit more for me. Finn Callaghan, 9 clangers, 46 DE. Never seen a Calla game like this. I'm very interested in getting Finn Callaghan in. I think he's got a very good Supercoach scoring pedigree. I'll be going there when his price drops down a little bit more. It'll be interesting to see if Finn O'Sullivan is selected this week because there could be a tag. I think he did get some Jordan attention as well, so it is worth flagging that. Harvey Thomas, first bad game, so if you have him, unlucky. And then, Hannaford. I hope no one went Hannaford. I don't know. His kicking is too bad. All right, Suns v Bombers, making good time here, so that is good. So Matt Rowell, 125, was quite good. 35 touches, a lot of contested. I don't know if Rowell will get cheap enough for me to be able to bring him in, but I think he is a good option this year. Obviously, that round 12 bye is not great, though. Petrarca, 105. I don't know how. I know he didn't do much in the last quarter, but how is 25 with 12 contested, 3 goals and 3 score assists, 105? It just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm pretty stiff. I'm feeling unfortunate about that. He was way better than this, and I held that whole time. So I don't know. I'm a little bit upset with this score, to be honest. Took Miller, 103. Got going the last, I think, half. 41 and 30. So he's one I'm looking to bring in next week. Zeke Uland. I don't think anyone has Zeke Uland still, but he was not ideal. Lombard, 45. I don't know. This isn't even that bad a game. It's just really handball heavy. Only 2 score assists, no goals. Contested rate isn't great. No tackles. So, I'm not sure. Unfortunate. On the Don side, so there was a very shameless merit stat pad at the end of the game. I think I don't want to change. I don't want to reinvent the wheel, but I'm of the view that sideways kicks should not qualify for scaling. There was a lot of these sideways kicks in the end of this game where he was just getting a heap of points from them. So, I don't know. I think that's an interesting discussion point, particularly as teams get more fantasy friendly, having more Supercoach points to hand out to players for actually meaningful stats would be a good change in my opinion. But I don't want to harp on that too much. But you'd be wrapped if you had Merritt. Had a really good game. Anzac Day this week, he will probably go well again. Roberts, 106. So, he kicked a lot of sideways ball. It's an average of 20 metres gained per kick. I am not convinced that this role holds when Redmond is back. I think Redmond will affect this. I don't know what he will score, though. So, I don't know. I'm kind of happy to not be on this pick. But we'll see. Parrish, the absolute terrorism from Scott this year with Parrish is so frustrating. The TOG is 15% higher than it was when I owned him. And now he's dropped back-to-back tons. And he has Anzac Day this week. So, fantastic that one is. Well done if you held. Sardis, 101. Sardis is going to be a very interesting discussion point this week. He's 220k mid-only. I think that price with an 80 and 100 in his system is worth bringing in. But I think there is a lot more risk than some are willing to acknowledge with this pick. I am very interested in trading him in because my cash gen is not good. So we'll talk about it later. And is there anyone else? Farrow, 61. Lost kick-ins in the last quarter from Merritt. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Was also on the bench for 10 minutes or 10 or 15 minutes in the last quarter. So not ideal. And then Edwards, 52 is honestly a pretty good score for him, I think. Ruled out at the end of the game with a HIA, but passed the assessment. So he will play next week. And then Ridley has a calf injury, so hope no one went there. All right, Hawks vs Power, not much relevance in this game. I think, so Sicily got thrown forwards, so unlucky if you have him. I don't know what Mitchell sees in Sicily, but as a forward, but whatever. And Reeves, 85, so if you held him, you'd be pretty happy with that. I'm a little bit surprised. I thought he was nowhere near this good. So he's had 6 contested with 2 clangers and 60 DE with 7 hit-outs to advantage. I swear Steen and Edwards played better games than this, but just were 15 points scored less than him. So I don't understand. The scoring's kind of confusing me a little bit this year, but anyway. Sicily moved forward, unlucky. Perez, I thought did a lot of nice things. Sicily got suspended this week, and they're not challenging, so that he's guaranteed out. So I think Perez holds. What it does mean, though, Scrimshaw likely comes back in and has a chance to prove himself, which is not great for Perez, but maybe we'll be able to get 80k out of this and maybe another game down the line. Who knows? Connor McDonald just had a stinker, so 7 clangers for him is pretty unfortunate. Just also like didn't really find as much ball as he normally did and got shoved out to the wing late in the game. Yeah, very limited CBAs, so pretty unlucky if you went him. And then on the Port side, so Butters was immense, was really good, so wrapped with him. Horne-Francis was also quite good. I had written this pick off because of no preseason. I think I am going to continue to go that way, but Port have nothing without these two, Butters and Horne-Francis, so based on that, he may just score enough. So I think that's definitely worth considering. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm looking at McInerney this week. I don't want to go Horne-Francis because of the bye, so I don't know. That's another one I'll consider, but I think it's a no from me at this stage. Todd Marshall swung forward at the end of the game, but was pretty good before then. Pretty happy with this. Hopefully he keeps ticking along. Good to see him playing in defence still. And then Lay, if you went there, pretty unlucky, to be honest. I don't know why they don't give him more of the ball, to be honest. I thought he did good things with the ball, so very unfortunate there. Crom v Saints, so Millera was quite good, as expected in this matchup. Worrell just didn't get enough of the ball late, so he got smashed by Scaling, which was a little bit unfortunate because this was probably worth maybe a 110, 115, so I lost a few points there. I will say the Saints don't give you a lot of opportunity to get contested possessions as an interceptor. The halfbacks score well because they push up the ground a little bit more, but Worrell did no score assists, low contested, so I'm not overly surprised by this. Cook, 100 on my dome, 4 score assists and a goal. Genuinely played really well. So well done to owners. Spewing I have Watkins over him. I thought McAndrew was okay. I think this double ruck matchup, Marshall and De Koning, neither of them are playing that well at the moment. Obviously, Marshall was pretty good this game. But I still think 2 good rucks makes it hard for a solo ruck. So, yeah, he's just ticking along nicely. I'm concerned he will get rested at some point because I only have 1 ruck. And Zach Kostelski, I don't think he's playing again this year, unfortunately. So, yeah, hoping he holds for another few, at least until Grundy comes down, presumably. And then, so Rankin and Rochelle. Rankin, I sort of flagged this last week. He's obviously kicked 3 points, which is unlucky. But the Carlton matchup is very good for those Rankin types. So, yeah, just probably a little bit unlucky with the 3 points. And then Rochelle just a few clangers early and then one really bad one late. And he got burnt a lot. So he was pretty unlucky, I thought. But yeah, they will probably bounce back this week. I don't know what their matchup is, but I'm sure they will be better than that. Edwards, so I thought he was actually pretty good. So 3 frees against, which is most of these clangers. Yeah, he did enough. I think he is something the Crows need in there. I think he's better than... I'm not going to say he's better than Berry and Peatling, but I reckon he looked bigger than both of those, and I think that's what they need in there. So be interesting to see if he holds, because he's an interesting option if he does. Hugh Bond was on 40 at quarter time and finished on 57, so if you have him, a bit unlucky there. And then on the Saints side, Wilkie's D3 or 4 or something, so I don't know, he's got 12 marks per game. I don't think this holds. Minus 33 scaling. This could have been a massive score. He was killing Walker early, but I think he went missing in the last quarter. Oh, no, 24. Okay, interesting. But yeah, Wilkie was really good. Sinclair just racked it up as per. 2 score assists. I think one of them was late as well, so that was nice. Marshall was really good. So TDK has a hip back issue. He's been almost certainly ruled out for this week. I don't think you can go Marshall unless he's out for probably 8 weeks, and Marshall becomes almost a cash cow for 30k. So unfortunately not relevant, but he does have West Coast next week. Sam Flanders 117. Good to see the bounce back. He's playing half back. Hardwick ran him at half back for a year on the Gold Coast, and sort of I think they both agreed that he wasn't really set for that position. I know his CBAs are reasonably high, but he's rolling off half back a lot. So yeah, I don't know, kind of weird. He's not a good half back because he's not fast and he's not really penetrating with the kick. So I don't know if this lasts, but I am happy with it for now as an owner, for sure. Windhager, just a lot of uncontested, so that's why the score was lower. Nas, 8 clangers, low contested. Yeah, he just had a bad game, I think. Got a bit of attention. He has West Coast this week, but he has historically scored poorly against West Coast. Not sure why that is, but he is one that him and Ash I'm still very interested in. So, yeah, that's definitely an interesting option, I think. Philippou with the 40, just really low on confidence, lots of clangers. Low disposal efficiency, not clangers, but probably needs a spell in the VFL, I think, to regain some confidence because he just looks a mile off what he has right now. And then Carroll, 32. Yeah, probably time to go. That 80 was very troll. But yeah, let's move on. Richmond v the North Melbourne Kangaroos. So this game is really weird. The roles were super weird. So Sheasel lost some CBAs, which was quite strange. And Clarkson has swung Zerha back and McKercher forward. So Zerha went 140. A lot are going to be very interested in him this week. I don't know how this is a 26 scaling either, but anyway, I'm not going here because the buy is bad. We've got a 1-game sample size against Richmond, who were absolutely woeful this week. I just don't trust it. And even if you did want to go there, 23 disposals is it's not bad, particularly when he took a couple of nice contested intercepts, but I don't know. I'm not sure about this pick at all. And it's just kind of the same with Parker, where I just don't trust the roll holds, and I don't trust that the scoring holds up against good sides because North have had an absolute cupcake fixture so far. They've played the 5 worst teams and Brisbane, who I think are also in the bottom 6 at the moment, but that's obviously that won't stay. But I just don't see it holding for a lot of these guys. I think LDU may, which makes LDU a really bad miss, but it is what it is. I think, yeah, so Parker, Zerha, I'm very sus on these picks. Who else is here? McKercher swung forward. As I said, I don't know what you even do with this because he's still scoring. 80's okay. You could probably hold to the buy, but the problem is he has the first buy as well. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a massive yikes if you went there or if you held. And then Blamire, 61, just was really poor in the first half and then bounced back. So, he's one that I'm definitely willing to keep holding. And Doveston quiet, again, unfortunate for owners. Richmond, not overly relevant. So, Ross has obviously gone massive here. Taranto's concussed, so he's out this week. There were some other injuries as well here. Rioli got injured, but he's not playing in the midfield. And Banks hurt his shoulder. So Short probably goes nuclear the next few weeks. Or maybe Grill goes to halfback and has a run there. So just on Grill, I think a lot are going to move him on this week. He's got a really nice run for halfbacks and outside types over the next few weeks. It's Melbourne. I think it's Melbourne, West Coast, North, or not North. Melbourne, West Coast, St Kilda or something like that. So I am going to hold Grill, and I would recommend others do so as well. And then Lafau, 35, so tough if you went there. Fawcett, -4, so I hope no one went there when Edwards was there. My boys, the Demons versus Brisbane. Don't know how we won this game, but we did. Was at this game, my first game of the year, so that was a fantastic watch for me. Melbourne not overly relevant outside of Gawn, Pickett, Steele. So Pickett was really good. Covers the ground super well as a midfielder. So yeah, wrapped that I traded him in this week. And then Gawn 105, no marks. The ruck contests were down, or the CBAs were down a little bit. So were the ruck contests. But Max Heath was quite poor. And we have a 5-day break coming up. So I think it was sort of in-game management of him. So I think Gawn will hold. I will say that this was a 105 in a matchup where I thought he was soundly beaten in the ruck, to be honest. I know that the hit-out stats are similar with Draper. And Zach Skelce didn't have a huge impact. But they were Draper and Zacko were both jumping really high and getting really good access to the ball before Gawn. And it looked like they were jumping faster into him. So I don't know if that was a tactic they had, but it was quite effective. And I do think that Draper is going to be restrictive against other rucks. So I just think that was worth flagging. But yeah, Gawn, no marks. If he takes 2 contested marks, this is a 120. So I'm not worried about this. Really good upcoming fixture. So yeah, super happy. And then Steele, you just take a 99. He was terrific once again. Anyone else relevant? Sharp keeps ticking along. Windsor 57. I don't know. I'm staggered this pick has gone so poorly, but is what it is. And Xavier Taylor on debut probably won't get enough ball to justify picking. But I was relatively pleased with what he did for a first gamer in a difficult matchup. And then on the Brisbane side, so none of Neil or Ashcroft was like super good. Neil was like reasonably good, but had some bad moments as well, I thought. So, I don't know. His numbers are quite good though. So, yeah, this, again, like I would have thought this was more than a 111, but anyway, is what it is. Coleman 90, would have been pretty happy with that if you owned. I think you can probably hold for a couple more as well. Dunkley 83, just don't think he's a keeper this year. Too much off-season surgery, unfortunately, for Dunks. Gallup gave you a 57 if you've got him, so well done. And McCluggage 50, so gave away like a free kick on the goal line, which I think a lot of people were saying was a bad call. I think to the absolute letter of the law, that was an obvious free kick. However, they generally let a lot of that stuff on the goal line go, so I can understand why people are a little bit upset. But yeah, he's going to be very cheap at some point. But want to see a bounce back before I go here, to be honest. And then Zach Kostelski laid in was absolutely carnage for some people. I've seen some Zach Kostelski captains. I've seen some like McAndrews benched. I've seen some premium rucks benched. So yeah, absolutely carnage and very unlucky if you had him. I don't think he'll be back. He was not good. So I don't know. I found it funny because it didn't affect me because I wasn't using him as a loop, but yeah, that was, unlucky if that screwed you over. And then I only watched the second half of this game, but it was very nice to see Clark on 80 at halftime. I will say that much. So Murdoch was really good in the second half for what I watched. Just gets it done. Ripper footballer, so very happy with him. Lindsay kicked a goal that I missed, but I thought he was pretty good in the second half as well. I think he was a very good draft pick by West Coast in terms of just stemming the bleeding that they've had around halfback and their ball use. So yeah, he's ticking along nicely. Reed, if you still got him, yeah, I don't know, unlucky. This guy is going to go absolutely nuclear one season for Supercoach. I just don't know when. Schomburg, I mean, if you went there, you would have been happy with this score. Bo Allen, I don't think many would still be holding Bo Allen. So yeah, let's move on to Freo. So Clark 146, tremendous. He was really good in the second half as well when I watched. Obviously, most of his scoring came in the first half, but yeah, he was terrific. Really happy with Clark there. Back up to his 105 average. So did owe us this 146. Has a couple of nice matchups in the next couple of weeks as well. So hopefully keeps going. Jackson 125. Just again, like high contested, high disposal efficiency. Jackson just has like a really nice scoring game for Supercoach. He uses the ball well. It's generally contested. He can hit the scoreboard. Good hit out to advantage rate. So yeah, I don't know. I'm still going to bet against this weird, unusual role and the Freo system being really hard to score in. But I don't know. We'll see. Couldn't begrudge you if you went there. Okay, just beware if you're going to go Luke Ryan. It is generally not conducive of Fremantle wins, and he gets told off for stat padding when they start losing. So just beware. Just beware if you're interested in Luke Ryan. Sarong 97. So yeah, him and Brayshaw just really struggling to score this year. I don't know why it is. Like Brayshaw's been particularly poor. I actually have a feeling, I'm speculating here, but I have a feeling that Brayshaw is injured. So if you've got him, you probably needed to move him on last week. Because now we're in upgrade season and it's sidewaysing premiums is very bad in upgrade season. So maybe hold the faith. I don't know. But yeah, it's been a very unlucky pick. Couldn't have imagined it going this poorly, to be honest. Young 88 would have been nice to have him as a pick. And yeah, that's the games. So we're getting to my team. Nothing really worth mentioning. Unfortunately, Grind has the ACL injury, so I have to trade him out, is what it is. But let's talk about some trades. So I have to trade here. I'm going to boost this week, so let's activate this. I'd prefer not to, but I want to upgrade still. I think Jago, it's time to go. And I think Sarong, it's time to go. So that means I'm holding Grill and Jakes. Both have good roles, generally. We'll see with Jakes. So I'm trusting them to bounce back or to keep going. But yeah, these guys, I need to move on, so that's what I'm doing. Who do I want to trade in? So this is the first one I'm going. I think he's a lock, so you got to go here. The one I'm looking at in the forward line right now is Justin McInerney with the Errol Goulden injury. He's been quite good. And he's got a really nice fixture coming up. So only down games have been against Hawthorn at the G. That's literally it. And they got belted in that game. Or not belted, but like that was a tough game for them. So yeah, I really like this pick. I think Dogs potentially without English, Melbourne, North, Collingwood is going to be a really good stretch for him. And then he has Richmond, St Kilda, Port after Geelong. So really like the fixture. So I'm quite interested in this. And then I have a decision to make. Do I upgrade to a Touk Miller? He's the one I'm interested in. Noting that Touk Miller has a 131 break even and will probably come down again this week, given he's got the Hawthorn Hawks in Tasmania. Or do I go Sardis? So because I don't have any of Cook, Dersma, and what's the other guy? Gothard. My cash gen is starting to stall with guys like Sarong, Jakes, Grill, Blamires, Jagger, all starting to cash out. Like Phillippo and Lombard aren't making money. I'm holding them because their break-evens are like kind of low and maybe I get a spike score, but we'll see. So this is how I think I'm going to go this week. It means I have 5 forwards. I'm very interested in getting, what's his name? Touk Miller next week, who has mid status. So I'll hold him in the midfield for a while because as you can see, I'm quite light in the middle at the moment, but these 5, I'm very happy to field. And I'm also kind of happy to field Grill at the moment. Definitely. So I think that's the trades I'm going to make. I have to make a decision if I go Horne-Francis or McInerney. Right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the first buy premiums. Horne-Francis would give me 5 and Touk Miller would give me 6. But obviously that also would give me 7 forwards. So I think I'm just going to take McInerney, who I like. And I'll bet against Horne-Francis because of the disrupted preseason. So that's how I'm going to go here. Which rookies do I want to field? Marshall is the only fieldable forward rookie at the moment. So unless you have Gothard or Cook. Cook had his calf iced after the game. So I don't know if he potentially gets managed this week or not. But they're the only 3 forwards you really want to be fielding as rookies. Which is why I've loaded up in the forward line. If you're at risk of fielding a Phillippo or a Lombard or someone else who I haven't clocked onto, like a Steen, I would recommend trying to fill out some forwards. Just because this score could potentially hurt you in weeks where like one of your other rookies falls over. So that's how I'm going here. Sydney, I think I'm going to field Jakes over Selwood again. I really don't want to though. Not much I can do about that though, I think. Is what it is. Who's going here? This is going to be Whitfield this week for flexibility. So yeah, I'll leave the E on Selwood. And then here what I'll do is likely this. Can I loop Grill and Blamires? I can, so that's what I'm going to do. And then captains and vice captains. So this week is very easy for me. It is Max Gawn against Samson Ryan into Nick Dacos. And there's nothing else I'd even consider outside of Sinclair against West Coast, I think. For me, if you have Grundy, he must be your VC, regardless of whether or not English plays. And then, like, if you have Merritt, you could go there. Jackson against probably Liam Reedy because Pitnet's injured is another option. You could go Nazire, but I have a bad feeling about Nazire at the moment. And I wouldn't take any of the Giants players or the other teams. So that's what I think for captains and vice captains this week. So yeah, let me know how you're going in the comments. I will say, for those interested in Sardis, if you've got like 2 of Cook, Dersma, Gothard, I wouldn't even bother with Sardis, provided you've had all of like the Grills, the Jakeses, the Jaggers, Murdoch, Todd Marshall. If you've got all the other good rookies, Farrow, I wouldn't even bother with Sardis. But it is a risk that I am taking because my cash gen is not that good at the moment. So that's how I'm going to go this week. I will do a trade video if my trades change. Otherwise, there will be no trade video this week. Sorry, guys. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Let me know how you're going in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking of doing for trades. And I will see you next week. Bye, guys.